All across Mexico and in the US state of Texas, there is a thing. In Texas, it is known as the Owl Witch. In Mexico, it is called La Lechuza, the owl in English. They hold a prominent place in Hispanic legend and have equivalents all across the world. The harpies of ancient Greece and the Banshee of ancient Celtic legend are two such examples. La Lechuza, the Owl Witch, is just as terrifying. There are several theories about what exactly the Owl Witch is. The first version of the story tells of a woman who practiced witchcraft many centuries ago. Naturally, the other locals in her small Mexican community weren't thrilled about this. They murdered her, but that didn't mean that they were rid of her. Her spirit returned in the form of an owl-woman hybrid to get revenge. Murdered individuals often come back in spirit form with animal-like features. A notable example of this phenomenon is the Rat Man of Southend, England, which is said to be the spirit of a homeless man who was beaten to death one rainy night by a group of sadistic teenagers. When he came back as an angry spirit, he had gained rodent-like attributes and taken on the appearance of a half-rat, half-man hybrid. The Owl Witch could have gained her powers and appearance from the same otherworldly force that brought the Rat Man back to life. Another version of the story states that La Lechuza are women who, possessed by an uncontrollable desire to gain magical powers, made the oldest deal in the world to gain them. They sold their souls to the devil. At night, they transform into monsters with a bird's body and a woman's face. They then fly across the night sky, searching for the prey that they desperately need in order to continue on with their incredible powers, human prey. When she finds a suitable target, she will perch in a location where she can't be seen, and then, like other predatory cryptids such as the Arwizot and the Crocoter, she will make noises which act as bait for her prey, most notably the sound of an infant crying. Anyone who attempts to investigate is likely to become La Lechuza's next meal. The creature will then, like the owl she gets her name from, swoop down and grab a hold of her unfortunate prey. She then carries the confused and terrified Good Samaritan back to her nest, where she pins them down and pecks away at them, tearing them apart slowly until they eventually succumb to their injuries and blood loss, and die. In modern times, most reported run-ins with the Owl Witch involve her swooping down at cars driving along deserted roads at night. They are said to be able to withstand gunfire and are possibly immortal. As a witch, Lechuza possesses supernatural powers. This also means that they operate according to different physical laws than what we humans do. They are said to be able to summon thunderstorms, and sightings of the Owl Witch are believed to coincide with them. This could be the case, as some believe, while others believe that the Lechuza simply appears during thunderstorms as it would act as a cover while hunting. We must remember that she is not bound by the needs of regular creatures, and so flying through dangerous weather would pose little to no risk to her. There are, however, two things that do pose a risk to this creature. The Owl Witch, first of all, fears salt. This is possibly due to her gaining her powers from the devil. If she possesses some of the devil's powers, then she may possess his weaknesses too. If you spill salt on the dinner table, gathering it up with your hand and throwing it over your left shoulder is said to blind the devil as he stands behind you. It could be for this reason that the Owl Witch too fears being burned and blinded by salt. The second weapon you can use against the Lechuza, interestingly, is swear words. Upon hearing the call of a Lechuza, the best thing to do is to immediately begin cursing her and shouting the most obscene words you can think of in her direction. Doing so will drive her away. Whatever you do, do not go outside to investigate the sound of a baby crying. As much as it may pain you to swear at a baby, this may be the best course of action if that baby happens to be crying outside of your house in the dead of night. Rather frightening stuff, wouldn't you agree, traveller? The Owl Witch, or La Lechuza, is a cryptid you should always be on the lookout for if you happen to live in Mexico or the state of Texas. This isn't the end, however. There is more to come. The American South is home to a great number of strange and frightening cryptids, and the White Thang of Alabama is no exception.